Okay, so are you ready to dive into something kind of wild? We're talking about a book that's over 100 years old, but still gets people talking.
Yeah, this one's a classic for a reason.
The Master Key System by Charles F. Hannell, published way back in 1916. This book claims to hold the secrets to unlocking your mental power. And I'm not just talking about like thinking happy thoughts. I mean like serious mental power for anything you want.
Yeah.
Success, happiness, you name it.
And when you think about it, it's pretty amazing that a book written so long ago is still so relevant today.
Right. So we're not just going to skim the surface. We're going deep on this one. And luckily, I've got expert speaker here to help us break it all down. You ready to unlock your inner powerhouse?
Let's do this. So, one of the things that really struck me about Hannell was how he was talking about ideas like the law of attraction way back then in 1916. I mean, he was way ahead of his time.
Right. And he doesn't just mention it in passing. He really dives deep into how powerful our minds are, like these incredible creative forces shaping our reality.
He uses this really interesting analogy of the sun rising and setting. We know scientifically it's not actually the sun that's moving, right? It's the earth rotating. But because of our understanding, our perception, we experience it as the sun rising and setting. And Hannell argues it's the same with everything else in life. What we focus on, what we truly believe, it influences how our lives unfold.
Okay, so it's not just about slapping on a happy face and hoping for the best. There's actually something to this idea that our thoughts shape our reality.
Exactly. Hannell goes way beyond simple positive thinking. He's talking about aligning ourselves with, and this is a mouthful, the natural laws of the universe. Basically, the fundamental principles that govern everything.
Okay, I gotta admit, natural laws of the universe sounds a little intimidating. What are we really talking about here?
Think of it like electricity. It's an incredibly powerful force, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it can be dangerous if you don't understand how it works. You have to understand how to work with it, not against it. Hanel's saying it's the same with the universe. There are these underlying principles, these natural laws, things like giving and receiving, letting go of things that no longer serve us, and embracing growth. And when we understand these principles, when we align our actions and our thoughts with them, we tap into a different level of power. We create a flow state where things just work.
Okay, so less about wishing and hoping and more about understanding the rules of the game and playing it strategically. I like it.
Exactly. And what I appreciate about Hanel is he doesn't just leave you hanging with these big cosmic ideas. He gives you practical stuff, exercises and techniques you can actually use in your life. The Master Key system is full of them.
Okay, give me an example. What kind of exercises are we talking about?
Well, he's big on physical mastery being the foundation for mental mastery. So he talks about things like posture, breath control, even just simple movements. His thinking is if you can't even control your own body, how can you expect to control your mind?
That's interesting. It's like he's saying you can't just think your way to success. You have to actually embody it.
Yeah.
Right, mind-body connection.
Right. And this is where it gets really cool. Hanel believes that all of this, the physical exercises, the focus on aligning with those natural laws, it's all about tapping into the power of your subconscious mind. He believed it was like this vast reservoir of untapped potential just waiting to be unleashed.
So we've got this hidden superpower inside us, this subconscious mind just waiting to be tapped into. But how do we even begin to access that?
Well, Hanel gives us a bunch of different tools and techniques in the Master Key system, and a lot of them have to do with like consciously choosing what we allow to take root in our minds. He's big on inhibiting negative thoughts.
Not just like ignoring them, but actually doing something about them.
Right, not just trying to push them away, but actually replacing them with more positive, more empowering beliefs, like actively shifting your inner dialogue.
So less, oh no, I'm going to mess this up, and more like, I got this. I'm going to crush it.
Exactly. He's all about cultivating a mindset of success, abundance, and well-being. But I can imagine some people might be thinking, okay, that sounds great in theory, but how do you just flip a switch like that? How do you change your whole internal script?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Mm.
Especially when you've got those negative thoughts just like on repeat in your head.
Right, and that's where things like affirmations come in. Remember how Hanel emphasizes the power of repetition?
Yeah, he's big on that.
He believes that by consistently repeating positive statements to ourselves, especially those that are aligned with the natural laws we talked about, we can actually start to reprogram our subconscious mind.
Okay, I have a confession. I've
Yeah.
tried affirmations before, and sometimes they feel kind of, I don't know, cheesy. Like, am I really supposed to stare in the mirror and be like, I am amazing. I am
Yeah.
powerful. It feels a little weird.
I totally get it. It can definitely feel awkward at first. But think of it less about trying to convince yourself of something you don't believe and more about like aligning your energy with what you want to experience. You're consciously choosing the thoughts and beliefs that will help you grow and succeed.
So it's not about just repeating empty words. It's about like embodying those words, feeling them in your core.
Exactly. And you know, Hanel actually tells this incredible story in the book about a man who healed himself from a debilitating illness using affirmations.
Wait, seriously, healed himself. Okay, now I have to hear this story.
So this man had been told there was no chance of a cure, but he refused to accept that. And he came up with this powerful affirmation for himself. I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. And he repeated it constantly with conviction, like he truly believed in its power.
What happened?
He recovered completely. Hanel uses this story to illustrate how powerful our beliefs are, how they can actually shape our reality, even our physical reality. And he's clear that this wasn't just some wishful thinking. It was a deliberate, consistent effort to reprogram his subconscious mind with a new belief, a belief in his own wholeness.
Okay, wow. That's powerful stuff. It
Yeah.
makes you think about what we tell ourselves, those beliefs we carry about what's possible and what's not.
Absolutely. And Hanel takes this idea even further. He says that by affirming positive qualities, not just for ourselves, but for other people too, we actually increase those qualities in our own lives. You know, that whole what you put out into the universe, you get back idea.
Right, that interconnectedness thing, which actually reminds me, Hanel talks a lot about abundance and not just in the, like, money sense, right?
You've hit on a really important point. He talks about abundance being a natural law of the universe, just like gravity. He points to the abundance of nature, the sheer variety of life, the vastness of space, as proof that this principle is built into the fabric of existence.
It's like abundance is our birthright, but we've somehow forgotten how to access it.
That's a great way to put it. We get in our own way, blocking the flow of abundance when we operate from a place of fear and scarcity. But most of the time, we don't even realize we're doing it. Hanel argues that when we understand these natural laws, including the law of abundance, we can shift our relationship with money, with success, and even with our own potential.
Okay, that all makes sense, but how do we actually do that? How do we go from scarcity to abundance? It's easy to say, think abundant thoughts, but how do you actually make that shift?
Well, that's where money consciousness comes in. And before you tune out thinking it's just about getting rich, he really means it as an attitude of mind. He saw it as a doorway to attracting financial success, but also to living a more generous and fulfilling life overall.
So it's less about hoarding wealth and more about creating it, being open to it flowing through you.
Exactly. And he's really clear that true wealth comes from creating value for others, from being of service. He talks about figures like Morgan, Rockefeller, Carnegie. Not saying those guys were perfect by any means, but they built their fortunes not just by taking, but by building, by creating opportunities for others.
So it's about finding those win-win situations where everybody benefits.
You got it. Recognizing that abundance isn't a finite resource, it's something we can create more of when we work together, when we share our unique talents and gifts.
And you know, this is making me think about something else Hanel talks about, which is creative thinking. He really seemed to believe that most people don't even come close to tapping into their creative potential.
Absolutely. He was very critical of what he called conventional thought, the tendency to just accept the ideas of others without questioning or challenging them. He thought this kind of passive thinking keeps us stuck and prevents us from seeing our true potential.
Like we're capable of so much more, but we put ourselves in a box by accepting the status quo, by not even daring to think outside of it.
Exactly. And he doesn't just leave us hanging with that criticism. He actually offers strategies for unlocking our creativity. He talks about focused attention, concentrating our mental energy on what we want to create. He saw that as the key to unlocking innovative ideas, solutions to problems that have maybe been hiding in plain sight.
But he also warns against focusing on what we don't want, right?
What?
Dwelling on those fears and negativity just attracts more of the same.
Precisely. He was a big believer in like attracts like. What we focus on, it expands. If we're constantly thinking about what we lack, what we're afraid of, we're just giving those things more energy, making them more likely to show up in our lives.
Like that saying, what you resist persists.
Exactly. Hanel believed that when we consciously choose to focus our energy on what we want to create, the qualities we want, the experiences we want to have, we can shift the trajectory of our lives.
That makes sense, but it's not always easy to just control your thoughts, is it? Especially when life throws those curveballs our way.
And that's where Hanel's practical exercises come in again. He gives specific techniques for building concentration, for visualizing what we want, and of course, those affirmations we talked about earlier. All tools for rewiring our thought patterns and aligning ourselves with the reality we want to create.
He also tells this fascinating story about an inventor who claimed to use these principles to bring his ideas to life.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my favorites. This inventor said he could visualize his inventions with so much detail, down to the tiniest nuts and bolts that they always worked exactly how he pictured them. He said it was because he was tapping into the universal mind, as Hanel called it.
Wait, back up. Universal mind. That sounds a little out there.
I know, right? But before you write it off, think about it like this. What if we all have access to this vast, interconnected field of consciousness? Like our individual minds are these little drops of water, and they're all part of this giant ocean of infinite creativity and wisdom. That's kind of how Hanel saw the universal mind.
So it's not just about, like, brainstorming on our own. It's about tapping into this wellspring of ideas, this collective knowledge. Almost like downloading information from some cosmic database.
That's a great way to put it. Hanel believed that anyone could access this source of inspiration, but you have to be willing to do the work. You have to cultivate the mental discipline to quiet your own thoughts and tune into that higher frequency.
So it's not just about waiting for inspiration to strike. It's about actively creating the conditions for inspiration to flow through us.
You got it. And he stresses that it's not enough to just have the brilliant idea. We have to take action, make those insights real in the world.
So it's about finding that balance between the inner work, like quieting your mind, visualizing, affirming, and then taking concrete action in the real world.
Exactly. And that's where understanding those natural laws comes in again. Hanel wants us to understand that we can't just wish for things to happen. We have to understand the rules of the game, both the physical and the mental, and work with them, not against them.
It's like trying to build a house.
Yeah.
Right? You can have the most beautiful architectural plans, but if you don't understand the laws of physics, of engineering and construction, those plans are never going to become a reality.
Perfect analogy. And just as there are laws that govern the physical world, Hanel believed there are laws that govern the mental and spiritual realms too. He saw the master key system as a way to understand those laws and use them to create the lives we want.
So it's not some magic formula. It's a way of thinking, a way of acting that helps us become conscious creators of our own lives.
That's a great way to put it. And that's really at the heart of what he considered the master key, the key to unlocking our true potential, mastering the creative power of our minds, and achieving success and abundance in every area of our lives. But he also cautions against looking for quick fixes or shortcuts. True power, he says, comes from within.
From aligning ourselves with those natural laws we keep talking about.
Exactly. He wasn't a fan of trying to manipulate or control other people to get what you want. True power, he believed, comes from service, from helping others achieve their goals.
It's about creating a world where everybody wins, where there's abundance for everyone. It's a beautiful vision, but I have to admit, it also feels a little utopian. Like, can we really create a world without poverty, war, and injustice?
It might seem impossible from where we are now, but Honnold genuinely believed that by aligning ourselves with these universal principles, we could overcome even the toughest challenges.
So it's about a fundamental shift in consciousness, both individually and on a global scale.
Exactly. He saw these big problems, war, poverty, injustice, as coming from a fundamental misunderstanding of who we really are. We've become disconnected from our own worth, from each other, from all of life.
And he believed that reconnecting to that sense of oneness, of our own divine nature, is essential for creating a more just and harmonious world.
That was his deeply held belief. He believed that when we recognize our own divinity, our connection to that universal mind, we naturally start acting in ways that benefit everyone, not just ourselves.
So it's about shifting from a scarcity mindset, it's me versus them, fighting over limited resources, to an abundance mindset, where we recognize there's enough for everyone and that cooperation, not competition, is the path to lasting prosperity.
Beautifully articulated. He really believed that this shift in consciousness wasn't some distant dream, but something that was already starting to happen in his lifetime. He saw humanity on the brink of a new era.
And this new era, this millennium he talked about, it's not just about material prosperity, right? It's a spiritual awakening, too.
Precisely. He envisioned a time of heightened awareness, where what he called the Christ consciousness, a state of universal love and compassion, would become more prominent. He believed that as more and more people embraced these principles of love, unity, and understanding, we would naturally create a more peaceful and harmonious world.
It's a beautiful vision, but it makes you wonder, How do we actually get there from here? What can we do as individuals to contribute to this shift to help create this new era?
Well, Hanel believed that it all starts with each of us. It starts with individual transformation, with taking responsibility for our own thoughts, beliefs, and actions. He emphasized aligning ourselves with those core principles of truth, love, and harmony, both in our personal lives and in the world.
And he actually gave us some pretty concrete tools to do that, right?
Yes, he gives us a whole toolbox for personal transformation. He talks about the power of positive thinking, visualization, affirmations, prayer. He stresses the importance of living in alignment with those natural laws we keep discussing, recognizing that we're not separate from the universe, but connected to it.
And that our thoughts and actions have a ripple effect. They impact not just ourselves, but the world around us.
Exactly. He believed we could literally use the power of our minds to heal ourselves and others, to break free from our limitations, and to manifest abundance in all areas of our lives.
So it's not enough to just understand these principles. We have to live them, put them into practice every day.
Absolutely. And he reminds us that we're not limited by our circumstances, we're limited by our beliefs.
So if we can shift our beliefs, align ourselves with a higher truth, we can change our reality.
That was his core message. He wanted us to step into our power, to break free from fear and limitation, and embrace the truth of our infinite potential.
And that's where the master key comes in. It's not just about understanding these principles. It's about using them to unlock that potential.
Exactly. He saw the master key as a tool for unlocking that potential, for tapping into the unlimited resources of the universal mind and creating the lives we most deeply desire. But he also said this is a journey, not a destination.
Meaning there's always more to learn, more to grow, more to create.
Precisely. He wanted his readers to be persistent, to never give up on their dreams, and to always keep striving for deeper understanding. He even included a whole bunch of exercises and techniques in the Master Key system to help people develop these powers, to cultivate the mental discipline to truly master their minds.
He was all about taking action, wasn't he?
Oh, absolutely. He talks about the importance of concentration, visualization, using affirmations, practicing gratitude, and of course, living in alignment with those natural laws.
And he also stressed that this learning, this growth, it's not a one-time thing. He wanted people to be lifelong learners, always open to new ideas, questioning their assumptions, and never stop seeking the truth.
Absolutely. He reminds us that truth isn't static, it's dynamic, constantly evolving and revealing itself in new and unexpected ways. He even included a glossary of key terms and concepts at the end of the Master Key system to encourage people to keep coming back to these ideas, to keep deepening their understanding.
Wow, he really wanted to make this accessible to people, didn't he?
He did. And he ends the book with this powerful call to action, urging us to take what we've learned and actually put it into practice, to become conscious creators of our realities, and not just to manifest our own potential, but to use that potential to make the world a better place.
So it's not just about self-improvement for the sake of self-improvement, it's about making a difference in the world.
Exactly. He believed that by transforming ourselves, we could transform the world. And he leaves us with this incredibly empowering message. You can be what you will to be.
You could be what you will to be. It's inspiring, but it's also like, whoa, no pressure, Hanel.
Right. That's a lot to take in, for sure.
It's like he's handing us this amazing toolbox and saying, okay, go create your best life. But then also, oh, and by the way, you're totally responsible for how you use these tools. No big deal, right?
I mean, he doesn't exactly sugarcoat it, that's for sure. He knew the world can throw some tough stuff at you, make you feel stuck. But he really believed we're not powerless. We have a choice.
And that choice, it all comes back to what we believe,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like if we can shift our mindset, our beliefs about what's possible, we can shift our reality too.
It's all connected. And he has this really interesting take on good and evil, you know?
Oh, yeah. That was a fascinating part of the book because he doesn't really see them as these like equal but opposite forces. It's more like,
It's more like good and the absence of good.
yes.
He uses this analogy of light and darkness. Darkness isn't a thing in itself, right? It's just the absence of light. And he says it's the same with evil. Instead of putting all our energy into fighting against the darkness, we should focus on shining our light brighter.
That's such a powerful way to look at it. Instead of getting bogged down in negativity, focus on cultivating what you do want to see in yourself and in the world.
Exactly. And that brings us right back to how powerful our thoughts are. Hanel truly believed that every single thought we have is creative. Every thought is shaping our reality.
He uses that great analogy of the architect.
Oh, yeah.
Before a building can exist in the real world, It starts as an idea in someone's mind.
And we're all architects, in a way. We have the power to design the reality we want to experience. But there's a catch,
We're
right?
not creating in a vacuum.
Right. Our thoughts and actions, they're always interacting with everyone else's. Remember that intense example he gives about the million men on a battlefield? All those thoughts of hatred and violence.
Yeah, and he even connected it to a flu epidemic, right? Like a physical manifestation of all that negativity.
It's a scary thought. But it highlights how powerful collective consciousness is. Our thoughts and emotions, they can impact the world around us, not just individually, but on a huge scale.
So it's not just about us, right? There's a responsibility that comes with this power.
Absolutely. We have a responsibility to use this power wisely.
To choose thoughts and actions that are life-giving, not life-draining.
Exactly. So we have to come back to those natural laws, those principles of harmony and abundance.
It's like, that saying, go with the flow? Handel takes it to a whole other level. He's talking about aligning ourselves with the flow of the universe.
Right. And he believed that when we align ourselves with that flow, we can achieve incredible things, not just in our personal lives, but in the world. He believed in a future of peace, harmony, and abundance, but it all starts with each of us.
So where do we even begin? How do we take all of this and make it real in our lives?
It can feel overwhelming, right? But I think the first step is awareness, understanding that we have this power, and then start experimenting. Try those affirmations, visualize what you want, pay attention to your thoughts, and most importantly, pay attention to those natural laws, those universal principles.
So it's not about becoming superhuman overnight. It's about those small, daily choices that bring us closer to the truth, that help us create the life we want.
That's a great way to put it. And I think that's a great question for everyone listening to think about. What's one small step you can take today to unlock your own master key?
I love that. That's what this is all about. Exploring, experimenting, and discovering the incredible power within each of us. So on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive into the Master Key System. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep exploring. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. It would be a great source of help to maintain and develop this channel and the correlated website. This book overview was presented to you by olbooksummary.com. Are you interested in more insights into personal development books or motivational and inspirational books? Please visit olbooksummary.com and you will find a library of the most helpful self-development and human character development books overviews. See you soon with the next books overview video.